Okay, again today is Steve Richards. Today I want to talk on alien abduction and some other interdimensional invading forces that can take over human bodies. You know, we go back 20 odd years ago, and I found that 20 odd years ago there's quite a number of abductions that we had people coming to us over, and I was found as one of the only people in the world at the time that could actually stop that from taking place. And the way we did that was, I'd go back to the cause the effect, or what I call the agreement of entrapment. Now the cause effect agreement entrapment meant that somewhere down the track, way back in time, you had made an agreement with these beings. Once that agreement was made, it was valid through time and space for eternity. You see, there are certain laws, and that is the most powerful. First law is, number one, is the law of intent, and the second law is the law of agreement. They need you to agree. So way back in time, these people I found made agreements, and they were the same people being abducted time and time again through lifetimes. I found the agreement that took place way back 7,200 years ago and further sometimes. I found events have taken place on our Earth where beings have come down here with the promise that our world's going through turmoil and they're here to take us off planet and to assist us while this Earth goes through its changes. And all the beings that entered this craft, I found that they entered the game of another. They are now subject to the laws of the game. The laws of the game now was, we'll let you come back and take another physical body if you allow us to manipulate, and I would monitor you through time. Now once that was agreed, that then gave them access to the vehicle. So when you come through, not only were you in the vehicle, but you had a, let's say, hitchhiker attached to you as well in the vehicle. His role was to monitor and manipulate, and any time they wanted to, he had access to them coming back through time and abducting you. You've got to look at the dimensions to understand that, and that is that, you know, our world goes around the sun in 1 year, but our world was never where it was. Our world was once in a different location, time and space, but another planet came around in collision with it, knocked it off orbit, and it set into a new game, a new rotating spin. Some of these beings from their world take 3,600 Earth years to create one shard. Well, one shard is one dimension in their time, which is 3,600 Earth years. So in other words, for 1 year it's 3,600 Earth years. Now, when you start to look at that mathematically, you start to realise how these beings can set into play an event that might only be for a week to them. So they can take hundreds of years, in Earth years, to unfold. One of the things I found when abductions took place, we would find what some people may have 1 hour of missing time. We'd work with the missing time, and we'd find that when they're taken aboard the craft, there was a couple of incidents here took place. One, just say the craft's a small 15-foot craft, lands on the road in front of you, the car stops and you're abducted. We found when they entered the craft, it entered another dimension. And that 15-foot craft in our physical reality, once you entered inside, the internal dimension was as big as a football field. We found some of the abductees 1 hour of missing time, but when we entered their dimension, we found that that could have been 6 months of experimenting in their dimension. In the beginning, what we do is we backtrack through the beings, we go through the abduction, we go through the spirit, we enter into their dimension. And then we do certain things on their dimension because they violate our dimension, which would then was an equal exchange. Understand how these laws in the universe work, it's all about balance. We found when people had been abducted, they would drop into a semi-catatonic state. Arms out, pinned to a table, big bright light above them. You also find out there that there are people that have got programs running for abductions. But the programs and the abductions are different again. There's like a lot of people out there have got altars. A lot of people are known as altars. Now an altar, again, what I found through working on thousands of clients over the years is, example, just say you as a child came here and you're very violent parents. Well, for a start, if you've come here with violent parents, then you must have been violent in the past, you've come here to experience it, and all of a sudden you don't like your own creation, and therefore you don't like the violent parents, so therefore you create an altered reality. So I don't have to face this reality of the violence and the abuse. I create an altered reality which is an escape, and I can escape in that altered reality. So every time I don't like this reality and what takes place with the yelling, the screaming and the fighting going on with the parents, I escape into my altered reality. But sometimes in my altered reality I need a friend. So I put out for a friend and the law of intent is activated and a little friend appears. Thank you. And that reality, I don't create anything that reality I want because that reality is my escape reality. But as that thought had created that reality, and that reality is now evolved from a thought to a life form, it's become a live reality. As it becomes a live reality, it's grown its own dimension. It's becoming a live reality in its own dimension of time, which is my escapism. And it becomes an altered reality. And what can take place is anything I wish to imagine that reality, I can create that reality, because this is my altered reality. So as time grows, it's growing. The life forms in the reality become alive. The life forms try to now justify your creation of your thoughts and your fears as part of that reality. And that altered reality becomes a real reality that now takes over your reality. And what takes place is that we have to go back to the cause and effect of the creation of that altered reality and change what took place to create the altered reality. Loop time, change time, replace that reality and go back further in time to what you did to set this up as your reality. The moment we change the past and the present for the future, and we loop time, put you outside time, we can bring you back into this reality. And no longer are you an altered reality. Sometimes people wish not to be here. Some people put out the desire to be abducted. Some people put out the desire to be taken over. Some people don't want their body. And the moment you don't want your body, then other things do. And they can come in and take over that vehicle. Some people out there today have got little minivans. They're driving, there's a full minivan full of other dimensions and other beings in there, manipulating as part of that reality. Then you find that you've got the big boys out there. The big boys have been around for thousands of years through the rituals. You go through the low level of the ritual, then comes the apprentice. You go through next initiation ritual, and again, more powerful being. By the time you're 20, 25 degrees, your thoughts and actions aren't your thoughts and actions anymore. You've got an altered reality that's manipulating your reality. By the time you're 33 degrees, hello, nobody's home. Look at this. Because you're not in there anymore. You're in the back seat. You know, the big boy, he's running. He's running your body totally. He's manipulating you. He's manipulating the people around you. And no one's home. Because you create the altered reality, you enter that reality. And they have the right to enter the reality that you've created because you went in their reality. Yeah, we really have to understand what is a reality. And amongst that, we have to understand how to deal with other beings that are coming through from other realities. Your reality is your reality. Nothing can enter unless you let it in. The moment you call in, I don't care what it is, gods, guides, angels, I don't care what it is. The moment you give power to something outside of your reality, you disempower you. And you hand power to it. And give it the right to take over you. Like people out there say to me, and the other students, how do you protect yourself? I don't. I don't need to. I understand law. The moment you understand law, you know who you are, and you know anything comes in your game, you can deal with it. Because it's invaded your game. But that's law. Most people out there need and out there calling things in because they don't know who they are. And they're giving power to things outside themselves. This just feeds the life form and gives them permission once more to take over you. Just understand who you are. Abductions, yes, they did exist. Nowadays, no, they don't need to. They've created enough clones amongst us nowadays that are walking amongst us. We have so many different species amongst us today, it's not funny. And we have species from all over the galaxies here amongst us today. Everybody's got the right to survive. But nothing has the right to invade the space of another.